Hello guys, it's Teenage DC Fan back with another video, and Batwoman is back because the crisis is over, so all the shows are getting back to normal, and so Batwoman's back in Gotham fighting all the villains in the streets, and apparently the hallways of a high school. So after the major events of the mid-season finale with, Catherine dead, Jacob framed for a murder, Mary extremely mad at Kate, this week is picking up very much where we left off with a few changes. So let's get into it. Quick warning, this video obviously contains spoilers for Batwoman Season 1, Episode 10, How Queer Everything Is Today. Alright, so obviously we're going to need to address the big auburn-haired elephant in the room, and, I'll get to it eventually, but crisis. So it actually seems to have left things in Gotham more or less intact. Despite the tectonic shifts happening over in National City, the merging of the multiverse doesn't look like it's, dropping any huge bombs on this city. So that's probably for the best, though. After all, the show kind of flipped Kate's life on its head quite a bit back in December, and who knows how she would have handled any massive changes so soon after, everything that happened in Crisis. You can go check out my reviews for those, by the way. But that's not to say that things in Gotham are normal. And, things in Gotham, normal in Gotham isn't really that normal for anywhere else. But, anyway, Kate is still a mass vigilante in a town being terrorized by new and interesting villains almost every day, including her own sister. And this week we have a new villain who attacked a subway train, and somebody hacked into the system, and this villain is called the Terrier, who's apparently an extremely savvy computer genius who manages to hack into Gotham's subway system and turn a run-of-the-mill late-night ride into the final act of Speed. Yes, I caught that Keanu reference. So anyway, Kate and her brand new bike are able to stop the train and save the passengers, but Kate very nearly gets her head taken off by her own grappling hook and is saved by this new character who's a GCPD agent. So of course the image of seeing this masculine police officer saving a female vigilante is enough to send the entire city into a shipping frenzy, and thus begins the theme of the episode, which is that people should be comfortable with who they are and not be afraid for people to know it. Because Kate's getting claustrophobic. She wants to be a hero, and she's the paragon of courage and stuff, but she feels that it's wrong to be basically lying to her city because they all think that she's straight, so that's why they're all shipping her with this new GCPD officer. But she doesn't want to lie to them anymore. And Kate has a lot of trouble with this because, like I said, the whole world assumes that she's straight, and to Kate that's untruthful. While yes, she is technically lying every time she puts on the mask and pretends to be someone she's not, this particular lie cuts to the very core of who Kate is as a person, particularly who she is as a queer person. And as I've discussed before in my other Batwoman reviews, Kate's entire personality and sense of self is built around the idea that she is who she is out loud and in public. Now, previously she struggled with the fact that putting on the cape and cowl meant hiding the truth again, but it's different. So, she's someone where she wasn't able to share a huge part of her life with the people she cared about most. Now that same cape and cowl has shoved her back into being straight. She, at least into people thinking she is. So, yeah, sure, Kate Kane is still out and proud and building a real estate company based on an LGBTQ ethos, but Batwoman is an inspirational figure, and part of her identity is considered by default straight. Now, Luke, of course, makes a good point, saying that the further away from Kate's real identity Batwoman becomes, the safer Kate Kane and her loved ones are. But Kate still feels like she's, doing something wrong by not telling the truth. And this feeling is drawn ever further into the light when she finally unmasks the hacker known as the Terrier. And this is the Terrier hacks into everybody's TVs, cell phones, and all that stuff in the city, and then sends this emoji of a terrier with a changed voice. It's like she's using one of those voice changer things. But like I said, so Kate finds out the true identity of the Terrier and discovers that she's Parker Mason, a scared and lonely teenage girl who was forcefully outed to her hyper-religious parents by her ex-girlfriend. And in a moment that was perhaps a little too on the nose, Parker tells Batwoman not to give her the "it gets better" speech because she knows that the best she can hope for is adulthood, where she hides her girlfriends and only sees herself in characters on TV. But Kate doesn't have a lot of room or a lot of time to process all of this because Alice, of course, arrives at the school where they're having this school dance and Parker's there. And of course she ends up kidnapping Parker, and this forces Kate to unmask right there in front of her latest adversary. And it's that moment that sort of allows the episode's heavy theme to come to fruition as Parker suddenly and immediately trusts and is inspired by Batwoman when she learns that Batwoman is, in ways, like her. And Batwoman is also a symbol of hope to the city, which is why, when Alice threatens to blow up all the kids at Gotham Prep, if Parker doesn't reveal Batwoman's identity to the world, Parker refuses to do it. Instead, the teen pulls a technological fast one on Alice, allowing Kate enough time to capture her, and the GCPD enough time to get all the kids out of the gym before Mouse blows it all to hell. So it was a close one, but everybody made it out alive. I mean, at least I don't think anybody's dead. At least all the kids are out. And in the aftermath of all this, Kate decides to split the difference. She can't reveal herself as Batwoman, but she can be a little more truthful. And so, Batwoman comes out literally on the cover of Catco magazine, which, because of Crisis, now exists on the same Earth, because Supergirl is now on the same Earth as Batwoman. So in a profile written by none other than National City's own Kara Danvers. So that's interesting. It would be cool if we got a reference to that in Supergirl. We didn't get it in the latest episode, but maybe at some point we'll get something about that, and maybe in a future crossover or something. And now Batwoman is an inspiration and a symbol of hope, not only to the people of Gotham, but to people like her and to people like Parker who see the world and think that there isn't a place for them. And elsewhere in the city, Kate isn't the only one who's dealing with an emotional fallout, because Sophie's marriage has imploded, and, well, things aren't going for her. So, also, her boss is in prison, and she has absolutely no idea what she wants from her life. She doesn't get a ton of time to dwell on these things during the first episode back, but it's clear that she's going to have a lot of choices to make going forward. And facing choices is Mary, who's very sad and hurt after everything she's been through. Despite all of that, or perhaps because of that, she's fighting like hell to prove that Jacob didn't kill her mother, but no medical professional she can find is willing to listen to her story of a face-stealing supervillain like Mouse. And meanwhile, Kate and Jacob are, of course, trying to convince her to talk to someone, and she just keeps pushing down her feelings and pushing Kate away. But thankfully, though, she breaks through those walls and allows Kate to give her a hug, one they both really needed. Oh, and the elephant in the room that I was talking about in the beginning, Beth is back. So, no, like, seriously, Beth is back, and she is a distinctly different person than Alice, who is also around and locked up by the crows. Now, so, yeah, actual Alice is locked up in the crow's facility or whatever, so this definitely isn't her. And when I was first watching the episode, I was thinking that somehow she escaped, and that she was just wearing her disguise again, but no, this is actually Beth. So, the easy explanation is that the crisis screwed something up, but that doesn't necessarily explain why absolutely no one else seems to know about Beth either. I mean, logically, it should only be Kate who remembers Beth as the person she was pre-crisis. So yeah, Batwoman's definitely getting more interesting with this twist, and this is similar to stuff that's happening on Supergirl, which I won't mention here. Like, if you want to know what's happening there, then go check out my review, which will be posted sometime shortly after this video. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, I enjoyed this episode overall. It was definitely an overall normal episode of Batwoman. Nothing too special going on in this episode. But it was a good episode. Not the greatest, but still good. And I'm looking forward to next episode and seeing how they deal with Beth being back. So, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hope to see you in the next video so I can bestow all my DC knowledge upon you.